some Moms for Liberty who had a very interesting experience last night. We're at the Moms for Liberty conference in Philadelphia. It's been a great group of joyful warriors, a lot of terrific speakers, but there's also been substantial protests outside last night and the night before. There were a lot of trans activists who are claiming that moms who are in favor of parental rights and protecting their kids from gender identity indoctrination are hateful in some way. So I'd like to talk to you about what happened. You went out for dinner, you left the hotel, and you got some Ubers, and you were surrounded by these people who had been out there since 9 o'clock in the morning. We heard from Scarlett about what happened, and why do you think that they were so intent on attacking you guys?
I think they know that we are winning this fight. We're really gaining momentum. We have people on our side now who have a lot of influence. And so we are actually making headway, and they're threatened by that. You mentioned the speakers. They all, have our backs. We've had several presidential candidates come, so we're winning, and they're, like I said, intimidated.
Threatens them. Absolutely. Yeah. We are over the target.
They are accustomed to being the only act in town as far as activism. And I think they're threatened because we are now activated. We are now organizing. We are now able to understand how things work, and we are working campaigns. We are getting on school boards. We are now forming state legislative committees, and we're trying to push legislation. We're developing relationships with politicians, relationships with teachers, relationships with anybody that we can. And I think that we're successful because we are speaking truth, we are speaking common sense, and they are not. And the more success we have, the more angry that they get. And just look at the poll numbers. We are on the right side of all of these issues because they are sane, because they are normal, and they want to project that we are somehow abnormal and that we don't belong. We don't belong in Philadelphia. We don't even belong in this country. We belong probably in some gulag or something. But these are our kids. This is our country. We are in the birthplace of this republic, and this is our Constitution. This is everybody's Constitution, and we're going to fight for it.
So you mentioned something interesting, which is that you were speaking truth. There used to be this concept in journalism and among the liberals in this country that one must speak truth to power. And at this point, from the White House, we see gender identity indoctrination. We see the elevation of this idea that a baby can be born in the wrong body. We saw just recently the president had put the Progress Pride flag in point of honor between American flags. Yet this movement, this trans ideology movement, continues to act as though they are oppressed and underdogs, even though their voices are heard at the highest levels of government. Do you think that the American people believe that they are the oppressed group? What do you think is going on there? How are they maintaining this level of power? Who wants to speak?
I can take that. I live in a conservative county in Virginia, and I really think that most parents wanted their kids back in school, and they want to work, and they want to go to their kids' sports games and, celebrate the good things. And so I don't think it's that they're not interested. It's that they're trying to live their lives. The same way we were trying to go to dinner last night. I respect everyone's right to protest. I think they are focused on an intimidation, and they want a reaction that they did not get from us. And so from my point of view, it really is just a continued effort to, to educate, empower, unify our mission, to be present, to, I could stand outside for 8 hours, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to a school board meeting. I'm going to sit down with like-minded people, and I'm going to build relationships, and that's how we do it. That's how we win.
I want to add something to that. This what we have witnessed in Philadelphia over the past few days, this isn't protest. This is about bullying, intimidating, and terrorizing us. They were attempting to terrorize us. They were attempting to make us fearful and actually want to leave. And James Lindsay was speaking this morning, and he said they want you to quit. That's their goal, to get you to quit, to be demoralized, to think, I can't do this anymore, to get other people to think that you're all those terrible names that they call us. And we just can't let them win. We have to keep fighting, but it's hard. I was shaking yesterday. It hurt my heart to be called these things. They were making fun of the way I looked. All of us.
Yeah, tell us about that. That's so interesting to me. They were insulting you basically for being pretty. Right?
Or for not being ugly.
For not being ugly. Right?
Yeah. And before we get to that, I just kind of want to piggyback on what they've said, which is that we are shedding a light on what's really happening in our institutions, in our schools, and in culture. And they have been used to being able to push this radical ideology to the point where most people in America didn't know it was happening a couple of years ago. And so we're the ones that are just normal everyday parents standing up and saying, look what's happening. Let's look behind this curtain and show America what is going on and what their kids are being subjected to and exposed to. So I think that's a big part of the reason why they're intimidated.
And then I want to give this to Amber, but I want to say that everything that we do professionally, we do with respect. Whenever we speak at board meetings, we do so always respectfully. If the only time that I've had a protest was when we held up signs to open up our schools when they were closed, and we were joyful warriors even then. Our directive to every parent out there is smile, be happy, be joyful. This isn't anger, this is about love. Everything we're doing is because we love what is behind us. We love our families, we love our communities, we love our country, not because we hate what's in front of us. It is the exact inverse for this crowd. They hate. They are motivated by hate. And I feel sorry. I honestly feel sorry for them. There must be hurt people. I think that they're very hurt people, and I guess I could say I pray for them. That's the best that I can do.
We are called to pray for them.
Well, we were talking about when we just had to go through, we would never want anybody's child to have people screaming at them or have to walk through a crowd that's just ready to spit on them. And when we were waiting to get slugged, they were like a half a foot away from our face, and just the vile, hateful things that they were screaming at us. I wouldn't want anybody's child, no matter what you're doing, to have to go through that.
Yeah. And the staff here have been affected by this too. They were like welcoming us back, trying to bring us in and cover us with their protection. And this morning, right before we had breakfast, Tina, our co-founder, asked all the staff to come in just and line up in front of the stage. I'm going to start crying. And we saw them all lining up before she even asked us to thank them. Our entire organization gets up, standing ovation for them. They were crying. These people, they see who we are, and they see what's outside, and they can see the contrast and see which people are the ones filled with joy and love, and which ones are just vile with hate.
And our Uber driver, and I'm gonna have Jamie talk about that. Our Uber driver was so sweet. He was shaking when he left. He was shaking and he was angry for us. He was so upset. He said, "I've never seen this like this in Philadelphia." He's like, I knew Philadelphia was headed in the wrong direction, but I didn't think it was this bad. You're just moms. You're just trying to protect kids. Why can't you have your opinion? Why can't you just do your thing and they can do theirs? And then when we started to talk to him and tell him what's going on in schools and why we are here and why we are doing what we were doing, he was visibly like shaken, and he was an immigrant.
Our Uber driver, he let us know that the hair was standing up on his arms, because I think that the things that we were talking about are the things that he experienced. His kids, he took them out of public schools, and he was experiencing that with his own family. He was like, I'm not from America. He was like, I love America though. This is my home, but this is not the home that I've known. And so he was so wonderful. He gave us his number so that we could contact him directly to come pick us back up. He thanked us
Checked
for
on our safety all night.
Yes, he thanked us for, he said, I was so happy to meet you and people that feel like me. And, the same thing down in the lobby last night. A gentleman and his wife were here for a wedding. And, he goes, this wedding was planned a year ago. We had no idea. And he's just said, are you Moms for Liberty? And he came up and he said he tried to have a few conversations with the protesters outside. And he came back in and he goes, I'm going to pray for you. And the things that you're doing to protect our children and America, he was like, just keep going. And it's one conversation.
Absolutely.
Every single time, over and over again, right? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know, Amber, you had the same thing.
We've had many complimentary conversations, just getting coffee in the morning. Are you with Moms for Liberty? Thank you for everything you do. And we didn't even have any garb on. And we're proud, and they're not going to make us stop. We are, like we say, we are just getting started, and hold on.
That's right.
And when we pass by security and the level of security that we've had to have, that's something else I would like to mention. I was completely unaware of the amount of threats, but the level of security, 1,000 Philadelphia police officers had to terminate their time off so that they could guard us, and we're so grateful.
26 precincts surrounding that. They called them in for...
Yes, and then we have our own private security, and then we've had to have agents from Homeland Security because of, there's threats of domestic terrorism. Antifa has put out their fatwas on us or whatever. I didn't take it as seriously till we went to the Museum of the American Revolution and saw what was going on
That was Thursday.
That was Thursday night. We had to be shuttled in. It was just crazy.
There were security guards blocking the gate where we were kind of walking into, literally, shoulder to shoulder security guards, so that they wouldn't be able to come over to where we were.
There were people on the roof.
Yes,
I saw
yeah.
that.
So you asked about beauty, and we were discussing this earlier. And my belief is they love ugliness, and they want to be as physically ugly on the outside as they are on the inside, because their souls are actually manifested in their physical characteristics. They hate beauty. They hate anything good. So beauty comes from God. Beauty is a wonderful thing. We should elevate beauty, but they want to bring it down. They want to make it something bad, and that's why I think that they're so ugly on the outside.
I think that this woke, however people define it, woke is a rebellion against Western civilization, Western norms. It's a rebellion against God, and we epitomize something that they hate, which is femininity, beauty, motherhood, love, everything that makes women powerful. Like that thing, we give life, and relationships. We're family. Yeah.
Some of us see each other once a year.
Yeah.
We communicate through social media or texting or maybe an occasional phone call. But a lot of us met a year ago at Summit, and we're seeing each other for the second time ever.
And it's like we're best friends.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and we really do. There's a community, and
We're in
it's
the same
built.
army.
Yeah, we truly are. It's one based on. There are people in this organization within Moms for Liberty that I trust more than my community members that I see every day, and it's because I know that they are steadfast in the fight for our kids.
Right.
My dad is a U.S. Marine, and he's been in combat. I talk about this all the time because I love my dad. He did 2 tours in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan, and he described to me that when you are in a battle, they are your brothers, and for life. Like, it doesn't matter. You can go 10 years without seeing someone. That's your brother. And I feel like we're sisters. When you go through the battles that we've been through, and we all, no matter what part of the country we're from, it's the similar stories, the shared experiences. we're kind of the old salty Marines that have been there. We've done that. We've been fighting, and we're just going to keep on fighting. Another hill for us to take, and we'll just keep charging forward. And so.
But we haven't been wrong.
No, that's what we were just talking about. That what have we been wrong? Were we wrong on masks? Were we wrong on what was going to happen to our children when they closed schools? Were we wrong about the depression that would result from what they did to our children? And whenever this comes up, I have to take a deep breath, because I will never forget what they did to my children. I will never forget. And I will never let it happen again.
Well, I want to thank you guys for your time today. Jamie, Amber, Kit, Scarlett, I really appreciate it. And I'm glad you got into your car last night.
Thank you for the work that you do.